about to start the screen. There it is, just popped up. So type in a 1 or yes. You guys can see the screen, hear me, all that stuff, and then we're going to start the recording as well. All right, thanks, Rich, for typing a 1 and a yes. He follows instructions extremely well, so that's great. Oh, perfect. All right, ton of loud and clear. Everybody's on here. Everybody's paying attention. We got the people that are rolling in a few minutes late, just showing up, all that standard stuff. Welcome to webinars. All right, so here's something that's really, really cool for you guys today. We all talk about all the fancy stuff. We all talk about, this new shiny object here that's going to generate leads, close sales. Hey, look at the new tool we've added into Reputation Loop. Look at this, look at that. But like I said in my email yesterday, it really, business and my success and the way I've been able to be successful online is the blocking and tackling. It's really the backbone of your business and how to develop that strength core of your business so that all the shiny objects and widgets and sexy things help build and grow your business. They're not detractors from it. And I've always believed in a core. Like I said in the email, I don't consider myself the most savviest marketer, the smartest marketer. I tend to outwork people. I'll give myself that. But the reason why I've been so successful in my business, and if you guys know, I don't have a business degree. My degree from college was flying, so really I don't even have a college degree. If you really want to get it down to, I can read air charts and I can tell you the weather. But I was able to build a business because I had a core blueprint and basically a foundation that I use as a formula for success in my local business, and then brought it into my local software company and have built it out so that I probably do a little bit better than some of you guys may estimate in my own business. So what we're going to talk about today is how to build a 5, 6, 7-figure business and how to build a recurring income business quickly. How many of you guys would love to learn how to build, if you're at a 4-figure level, a 5-figure level, if you're a 5-figure level per year, a 6-figure? Type in a yes in the chat if you guys want to know how to get to that next zero in your business, because it's really all about adding that next zero. And I'm trying to go from 7 to 8 in my business as well. So yeah, so Bill says yes. Rich said, yeah, 6th level going to 7 for sure. Yep, some Jimmy, and yep, from Rodney as well, and a couple other yeses that are just now coming in. So yeah, this is all it's about. Now, what's going to be really cool is that this is something that's repeatable. It's something that's step by step, and that you guys are going to be able to see through this process and what we're going to cover today. I'm actually going to bring out Brian, who's a really good friend of mine. First, we've got some other stuff that we've got cooking in the background that he and I don't really work together as much as we should have in the past, and we're starting to work more and more together here in the future, because we know that in our businesses we align very, very well with our values, our trends of where we're going, how we like to do business with individuals, and the people that we like to do business with. So we want to make sure that we're adding another zero to your business with this. So Brian, come out and walk them through the base income formula and how it's going to get them that extra zero.
You got it, Jeff. Thanks a lot. And for everybody that took your time out of your day to come, we'll use your time wisely, I promise. And this will be different than most of the calls you're on. And I suspect that none of you have seen this before. So you are probably the first ones to see this. So thanks for being here. And Hershey, thanks for having us. Now I have with me, let me see if I have a screen. I have this very important slide that I stole from somebody else. Says try to pay attention. I know it's hard. I mean, I'm getting texts from people right now, and do your best. Sit your phone down. Try to turn off Facebook. It's better if you can just focus for fixed periods of time. So try to give us just a little bit of your time, and let me introduce to you. I have on the call. There's 4 of us up there, but I have Sid on the call. Sid, are you here?
Always, buddy. How you doing?
Excellent. And I have Jean. Jean, are you here?
I'm here all the time, you know that.
Okay, guys, so we don't have Sue. Sue on the far left is enjoying the fruits of her labor, and she is in Alaska for 2 or 3 weeks on like an extended vacation with her husband. So very cool, but as part of a team, you know, we got each other's back and we work on things together. So we will do this call together. Jean and I will do a lot of the slides. Sid's going to kind of run the Q&A. And we will make sure that we address everything. Now, I want to tell you that everything we see here, if you see this beach picture, this is the East Coast. Sid, when were we there, man? It was
About a year ago, wasn't it?
yeah. Gene, do you remember the month? What was it? March or April?
It was April of 2014.
Yeah.
So, you guys, we were at Jean's beach place. She had actually her customer, one of her clients was a beach rental place and hooked her up with like a 6-bedroom oceanfront house. So we did a mastermind there. Sid, myself, Gene, and Sue. We had one other person there, and we strategized on how to kind of fix some of the disconnects that were existing in local marketing. So this actually started April of 2014. It took a while to kind of do it right, put it together, test it, etc. And it's built completely around Jeannie's real world business. So I've built stuff around my business before, and so has Sid, but in this case, we're building the whole thing around Jeannie's business. And so we spent a weekend, like a 4-day trip. We spent 4 days mapping this whole thing out, and it had kind of a different flair. We'll tell you about it in just a second. And I'll be really fast, but I want you to know kind of who we are. So this is me, top right. I tell you that's a glam shot, but boy, would that be embarrassing if that was a glam shot. Huh? No, let me tell you. I've been doing local marketing a long time, since before I thought about calling it local marketing, but since the mid-90s, work with franchise clients, heavily into automotive. I've had some attorney clients over the years that I still work with. Got 2 CPAs left. I got a handful of surgeons, and then I've got your random small biz that comes out of networking groups. You guys all know the type. So, but the cornerstone of my business has been franchise and automotive. I do a lot with search, specifically local search. I speak on a lot of the trade shows and that jazz. And then along with Sid, I've invested in some social media and mobile technology. I've got a lot of reputation management and marketing clients. Matter of fact, I spent a lot of time, Jeff and I had worked on one just recently. And from a personal standpoint, I've got, like many of you, I've got kids. I did go the school route because I bought into the work hard in school, get a good job. And all I got out of that was, I worked my tail off. And it was one job after another where the stock market went bad, they would have massive layoffs. And, at some point, even with an MBA, I grew weary and decided to start my own business. I did my first IM product actually in '95. It wasn't locally based. It was more of an online product, but that's another story. It didn't make me millions, but it was a lot of fun. And my first client, for what it's worth, was a dentist. And it was my roommate's dad, actually. It was the ultimate insider, right? Let me introduce, who's next? Jeannie, will you talk about yourself for a few?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure to be with you. I basically am unemployable because I can't work for anybody else. I have not worked for anybody in 40 years. Brian found that hard to believe the last time.
You guys are 44, so when Gene said 40 years, I chuckled. I'm thinking, wow. It makes you think, right? It makes you really think.
Yeah,
I was even more impressed with Gene than I already was. Sid, I don't know if you were there when she blew me away with that comment.
Yeah, I remember that in Vegas.
Well, I don't mind telling you, I'm 64, and Brian and Sid are younger than my children, so I love these guys. But I have been an entrepreneur all of my life. I just can't punch a clock for anybody. I own a telecommunications company, have my own voice over IP switch, and I've had that for 20 years. It's like my little goose that keeps laying the egg. And then I joined forces with Sue, and we did the business training team, training for the chambers and stuff. So if you've ever heard our product about that, this is not it. Don't get nervous. This is not the same thing. I now own a local agency called the Business Force, and then I'm partners with Brian and Sid in the local training academy. My husband and I are entertainers. We love to ride. That's my bike there. And now we bought an RV, so we're trying to figure out how to take the bikes and the RV. Can't figure that out. So I was published in Joel Comm's book last year. That's my 3rd book I've been published in, and I love to write. And I'm a foodie, love to cook. So that's kind of me. Oh, I'm a grandmother, and I love my husband. There he is down there. We got a great, long-term marriage, and we're just wild ponies out there doing our thing. That's me.
Thank you very much, Gene. Now, Sid, I know a lot of people know you, but if you don't mind just kind of giving the highlights on your background. Sid muted himself, so we can talk about him. Let's see. All right, so you guys.
Hey, man, sorry about that.
There you go.
I took a phone call with Brian. Sorry, man. Yeah, my name's Sid Michael. I'm currently billing many clients. I do have some up to $30,000 clients here locally in the Atlanta area. I do local automotive direct mail and sales training and lead gen. 20-year veteran in the car business. It's all I've done all my life. I started when I was 19 years old on October 27th, 1994. I sold Stanley R. Davis Jr. a Z24 Cavalier Red, 1992 model. I'll never forget it. I own my own consulting firm, and my numbers speak for themselves. So I also have 2 car lots with Brian here in Atlanta that we basically test and use for social proof and to try out some of our new software or what our styles that we're looking to implement, and I'm having fun, man. I'm enjoying every day that I wake up. So if anybody needs help with sales, closing, or any kind of getting the door or how to consultative-based sell, I'm the guy that you can call in and he'll help you out.
No, great. Well, listen, everybody. We wanted you just to kind of get a flair for the different personalities on the phone. So Gene and I will do most of it. Sid's running the Q&A, and then we'll bring Jeff in at the end and have Hershey help us with Q&A as well. So I'm going to start and then hand it over to Gene. So what we're going to teach you about today is different. It's different from what most of the people promise. And I'm one of those, right? We always talk about, massive incomes, right? It's always big numbers, right? So today, we're going to talk about a base income. We're going to talk about building a base recurring income on autopilot, right? So that you can actually have money coming in each and every month without the stress. We all know the stress. We're not here to talk about it. We're not going to here to tell you about how to make, $10 million, how to do anything, like that. But we want to show you how to go from either 0 to a handful of clients where you have maybe you don't have consistent income to a very consistent, reliable base income, and that's what we're speaking about. So base income formula is all about the local home services business. It's built around a directory site strategy that actually attracts local homeowners as new customers. We use lease sites for individual businesses. We've got strategies for making the phone ring, which is critical to getting paid. And we've got ranking strategies that make it very, very simple for not only the directory, but the individual business owner sites. All of our deliverables are outsourced. Yes, that means you can do everything relatively hands-free. It's rinse and repeat. You can do it once and then set up a second one and a third one, etc. And we've done that, and we're going to show some examples, and I'm going to let Gene talk through all of that with you in just a few minutes. But I think it's important that you understand right at the beginning that this is a local income-based solution working with home services industry involving leased sites and our directory strategy. So that's the nut of it, right? A lot of people want to beat around the bush and not tell you what they're selling you. I'm going to tell you right now that's what we're going to hear to not only show you but to share with you in just a few minutes. So if you can imagine, I know Sid is a great, possibly a magnificent salesperson. I mean, he's unbelievable. I'm not. I'm okay. I mean, no, I'm not horrible, but I will tell you it's not the same. But imagine for those of you that are closer to Gene and I that, we don't mind talking to customers, but we don't want to sell nonstop. Imagine if you were calling business owners with leads before you even asked them to buy, that you're building a relationship with those local business owners, right? These home services, let's just call them contractors, right? Based on qualified leads you're providing. So what do you think, guys? I mean, if you're bringing them leads for free in advance, do you think they're going to tell you, no, sorry, Rich, I know, I like what you're doing here in Warner Robins, but man, I don't need any free business. They're not going to say that. They're never going to say that. And we all know that that is important at the end of the day. You need to show value over price to steal Sid's line. And when you do that, you have a chance to make a sale and a customer and a long-term relationship. And that's what we show you how to do. Now, when we talk about who this is for, it's very important that you understand this may fit a number of you, but not all of you. If you're new to local marketing, you're very lucky to be on this call with Herschy today. Very lucky, because I'm going to save you a lot of heartache and a lot of grief. If you're an experienced local marketer who are looking for a new stream of income, so you've got your successful reputation, right, and you have it working. You have RepLoop, and you're loving it, and you're using it, and you love everything about it, but you want another stream of income. Or maybe you're an internet marketer, right, and you're selling products, but it hasn't really worked out the way you thought it would. In the reality, you're an affiliate marketer. You're really looking for that consistent, reliable income. Maybe you're one of the above, but you also have a job, right? That's a job, or just over broke, depending on who you are, and you want a business that can be worked part-time and take the stress out of your life. Maybe it hasn't worked out the way you thought it would. Maybe you've been involved for 6 months, a year, 18 months, and maybe you haven't turned the corner. You haven't made that base income. You haven't hit escape velocity. So if you fall into one of these categories, this is phenomenal. If you're crushing it out with $500,000, $1 million plus revenue, I think you'll enjoy this call and you'll get a lot of value out of it. But I would recommend you not buy in our system, because I don't want you to do anything that would take you away, from what's working, if you will. So let's see. Sid, you're calling me in case you didn't know that. So we don't want any whiners and complainers, and I know Herschy doesn't either. It's important that you focus and that you kind of be in the game, if you will. There's no victims. Everybody here, you're going to eat what you kill. You're going to make what you make based on your own hard work. I tend to believe that if you work with Jeff, you have to take responsibility for your actions. You got to want to grow a real business, not a gimmick, a real business. And this isn't anything like the little $10 and $15 WSO products that have been out over the years. 1 out of 100 were worth a darn, right? So it's important that you kind of understand all of that. And I'm going to bring Gene on. Gene, are you there? Let's talk about home services for a second and maybe share some case studies.
Okay, sure. So why did we pick home services when we first started? Well, we just thought it was a good idea. I don't know that we, had any real brain power behind that, other than it looked like a group of people that needed some help. But when I did my research, I found out that home services vendors are a $630 billion industry. So I thought, bingo, we really did hit it good here. And so do you want to know who else is in the home services industry? If Brian will move that slide up, I'll show you. Because this
had it frozen. Sorry.
That's all right. Angie's List, Home Advisor. There's a company called Thumbtack, and now big old Amazon has joined into the fray. Yeah, they've decided they want to be a representative of local home services. Well, let me tell you next why consumers don't like those sites and how we can do better. So why are consumers dissatisfied with these national sites? You want to click over there, Brian? Okay, there are too many businesses listed for one service. Our sites only have one business per niche or per category. I'll give you an example. Home Advisor, they're going to give a lead to 3 different businesses, and whoever can scramble and get to it first and close the deal gets the deal, and yet they're paying for that. Why would you want to pay to be in competition with probably your 2 biggest competitors? That's just crazy. Also, some of the sites aren't even local to the area, and they don't understand what the local needs are in a community. These sites don't offer coupons. They don't offer special deals, and there's often no direct connection to the actual provider. A home advisor, for instance, requires that a homeowner completes a form and fill it out and then wait to be contacted. I mean, you know, when your AC is out and it's 95 out and 80% humidity, you don't want to fill out a form. My goodness, you want to pick up the phone and you want to call. So I think there's weaknesses in every one of these big national companies, and we found a way to really capitalize on that. So Brian, the next slide will show that our answer is exclusivity and way more. So we built a site here in Myrtle Beach 5 years ago. This is when I had just learned what WordPress was. I honestly was so ignorant. I should have never succeeded with this. But it's amazing what can happen when you buckle down and learn some basics. But our answer was that each type of business, whether it was a roofer, plumber, AC repair person, a swimming pool contractor, a handyman, we had about 20 of them targeted. We built a site for each kind of business, and here's an example of one that we've done for flooring, and it's just called Flooring Myrtle Beach. And this guy recently called us and asked if we could turn it off for a while. He had too much business. We said no, we can't turn it off. We could let you go on and take care of your business and find somebody to replace you, but no, we're not turning it off. Each business has a tracking number. If you look up there in the top of that website there, free estimate 843-282-2108, that happens to be a tracking number that I own on my telephone switch. So it has a tracking number, and each business has a listing in Google. They have a Google My Business listing. And it's easy to replace people. You know, there is some attrition in it, but 5 years later, I don't know if I'm getting ahead of myself here, but 5 years later, we still have most of the original customers that we had. We have 22 people now on our Myrtle Beach Home Services site, and there's been, like I said, some attrition. You know, the plumber packed up and left town. We had to replace him. Some people just aren't smart business people no matter how many leads you give them. But if you Google a lot of these people, because I tested it just yesterday, they're still in the #1 spot, or at least they're in the 7-pack of the maps. A lot of them are #1 in our area still, and we do almost nothing now to keep that ranking for them. So we thought, you know, well, this is really cool. And, you know, we call this course Base Income Formula. And it really was, because when Sue and I started working together 5 years ago, you know, we were doing free training at the chambers and getting some business that way. But we wanted something that would just be a, you know, really good base. And our prices were a little lower 5 years ago, but it was our first $5,000 a month. And for 2 grannies, you know, we thought this is pretty good. And then we just rinsed and repeated. Now we have, well, now we're charging double what we were, because we know that the market will bear it. And we've got multiple 6-figure income streams from doing the same thing, and now we're kind of experts at it. And that's why Brian said, well, let's teach other people how to do this, because this is so cool. So what's in it for you? Highly unlikely that anybody in your area is offering the same service. It's a great time to get in this. It's relatively easy to set up. We'll show you exactly what to do. It's very attractive to local business owners. It's recurring income, and these people come back to you because they trust you. they know you and they trust you, and you can upsell all sorts of things. You can upsell mobile, reputation, press releases. You can just, I mean, you don't have to go looking for new business because they're all in your little corral there in your home services site. It's a great foot in the door to local business owners. So that's kind of what's in it for you. And I'm anticipating that some of you will have questions. Well, let's talk about what's in it for the business owner first, and then I'm going to.
Well, Gene, let me say one thing. How many people on this call, yes, it's live, Leonardo, and yes to Canada, Stuart, but how many people on this call get concerned by the level of competition out there? Do you feel like, man, there's a lot of people selling what I'm selling? Do you ever think about that? Have you ever thought that, honestly?
I have.
Yeah, Rich just said definitely. Yes, yep, we're seeing them come in. Sometimes, Jimmy, yep. It's all over the board. We all have. The key is to differentiate yourself, and when you see exactly what we're doing, we're spinning the business model a little bit to give you that competitive edge that nobody else really has. And that's the beauty of the whole thing. We're gonna turn the light bulb on for you, and we're gonna show you a model that works and generates real revenue, and you're just gonna go, wow, what a great idea. So what about the business owner, Gene?
Well, this is really one of the most fun parts of this, and that's a very boring looking slide, and I made that slide, so I'm sorry. But this is one of the most exciting things, because in any community, it's in the heart of every human to want to be part of community. You know, we were built for community. We were built to have partners. We were built to have children, families. Well, it's no different in business. People, business owners, they want to feel like they're part of a community. So number one, we're creating customer loyalty because there's only one business per category. And then we thought, what else can we do for these people? So after we had maybe 10 people on the site, on our site back in the beginning, we had a little breakfast meeting for them at an antique store here in town. It's called the Cooper Event House. And we invited them all over for, you know, some Danish and coffee in the one morning, and we let them meet each other. And they started saying, well, oh, you know, if my customers need you or need a plumber, I'll have them call you. So they started marketing for each other. They were cross-selling. Well, about the second time we had that meeting, maybe 6 weeks later, they wanted to know, when are we going to meet again? When are we going to meet again? We came up, as a group, we came up with the idea that we would all kick in an extra, you know, $20, $30, and we would have these refrigerator magnets made that everybody would hand out with every job, cross-marketing for the others. In fact, I think, well, let me finish this and I'll show you the magnet. We also did some co-op money for shared advertising. Now, Sue has found out how to get this for free in one of our local papers, and she just added a module to the course telling how we did that. But we have quarterly network meetings. We're not doing it quite as often, especially with Sue's and my traveling schedule. But bottom line is, we're making their phone ring. You know, and they don't care about how they're ranking. They really don't. They're out there in the hot sun working. They want their phone to ring. And so, yes, it takes ranking to make their phones ring, but don't call these people and talk about SEO. They don't want to hear that. They want their phone to ring, and we've been able to do that. So, Brian, go to the next slide, and let me show you that magnet. There it is. Okay. Now, that phone number at the top, that's another phone number that I own, and because it's a really cool platform, I can make menus on there. And so there's the magnet. It's a 5 by, how big is that magnet? Maybe, I don't know, 6x4 or something. It's not your little business card size. It's a bigger size. And goes in the refrigerator, and there it just says, if you need a plumber, call that number, dial extension 10. And when they do press these extensions, it goes right out to the plumber, right out to the cleaner, right out to the carpet guy. So we don't have to take those calls or pass them on. There's no delay there. And so they, we reorder, and everybody kind of ponies up a little bit and pays for the magnets. I don't have to pay for it out of my pocket. They're happy to pay a little extra. And so people love that. And again, it creates that sense of community. It's kind of like an online BNI club, I guess. Only there's no pressure. You don't have to have leads, or you can't come to the meeting. They just love being with each other, and we love doing it for them.
Well, but think about it. Most of these guys. So my brother's an AC contractor. Most of them don't go to BNI meetings and stuff like that. Now, my brother buys leads from a multitude of services, including some of the ones you named earlier in the presentation. Mm-hmm. And they all lack a sense of community. They don't want to work with other AC companies because those are the enemy. These guys are like football coaches, right? They want to win, and they need to beat the other guy. Fair? But you know what? If they're talking to a plumber, they always bump into plumber deals. You're creating, I think you said it really well with that mini BNI. You're creating this community, and guess where some of the leads come from that come out of the system? Do you think they all come from SEO and social and mobile and things like that? No.
No. They come from each other.
That's right. It's very, very, very smart, guys. So hang on a second. Gene, you want me to flip it?
Yeah, go ahead. Okay, I'm going to give you a case study here. This is the flooring site that you saw earlier. Now, we did have the good sense to run around and buy all the niche domains 4 or 5 years ago. Now, they're not all available, but you can always find. I'm doing this in another city, and I could not find, what was I was looking for? heatingandaircity.com. And so I just added heating and air in the city.com, and I got that one. HVAC wasn't available, but you just put pro in it, or the word in, or best, or whatever. You can always find domains there. I just love domains. I'd rather buy domains than shoes. Wow. So I love domains. So I'm always looking for a cool domain. So anyway, we owned flooringmyrtlebeach.com, and you see they're in the A spot for Myrtle Beach. There's his competitor right there, but no problem. They pay us $4.95 a month. And let's see, we require the first month as a deposit, and we ask for a 6-month commitment. I'm not going to beat them up and sue them. We do all automated payments. We don't take checks. If you say the only way you can pay me is a check, I'm sorry. We're just not a good fit for each other. I'm not chasing checks. I learned my lesson. So, like I said, most of the people have been with us for years. So
now, Gene, tell us about that site. There was a few questions. Who was it? John or Leonardo were asking about the text. They said it almost seems very generic on the site. Is that by design?
Probably. I haven't looked at that site in a while. But when you write articles, if you just add some, surely there's something on there that's, let me check it out here. Hold on.
So the point I was trying to make, as I sandbag Gene there, the point is really easy.
Thanks, Brian.
You're not going to always have the same client. So the point is, when you have this site, you want to be able to replace the business on the back end. And she had the plumber. She had the plumber who just disappeared. So the beauty is, this phone number she can repoint to anybody she wants. the content, she and her team are really good writers. So it almost looks like PLR writing, but the point of it is it's custom writing that ranks. And it'll rank in any market. We've tested this a bunch of times. And what happens, you guys? It's amazing. The phone's going to ring, and it rings like crazy because she gets it ranked on page 1, organically.
Yeah.
No funny business, just very, very straightforward. But if for some reason that carpet cleaner didn't want to be a part of it anymore, his branding isn't tied to it.
That's right. And if you look at the top of that site, if any of you pulled it up, that phone number that's at the top, that's his phone number. So he's getting all the calls. And the contact form, that's going straight to his email. So we're not in the middle of it anymore. But it's easily changed to somebody else's number. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, if I go to his Google Plus page, let me see. It's hiding the address because we do that. Yeah, we'll talk about this later. It's kind of a odd place to get into this, but as far as the addresses that we use to get them ranked on Google.
What's your cost a month? Because Dan is asking about the $4.95 price point. He's like, it just seems like some of the services you're providing should be worth more than that.
They probably should be. Once you get something ranked, though, there's a lot of work on the front end. I'll just be honest with you. There is some work on the front end. But once you get things kind of ranked and in place, all you have to do is put a new article on there every month. So, I mean, for me, that's $15. I pay.
Yeah, so wait a minute. So you spend $15 recurring to make $500 roughly, $4.95.
Yeah.
So if you think about it.
I mean, I got my hosting, that's what, pennies. I might be paying, $2, $3 a month for the tracking number. It's small. I mean, almost all of this is profit.
Well, Gene, let me stop you. So, guys, you could absolutely charge more, but you don't want to. Could you get it for 3 months or 4 months? Yes. Could you get $1,600 a month for 5 years from that guy? No. And Gene's getting this month after month. The whole point of the strategy is that base recurring income that's reliable. So it's like 95% profit. The whole model is very, very simple. And the beauty of the number is somebody said, how does the business owner know these leads came through you? Guess how? Come on. Anybody have any idea? When that number gets called, how do they know? Tracking. Rich is right. Whisper calls and tracking.
That's right. That's right.
Now, you could do a model on pay-per-call. And I do a lot of pay-per-call. Gene doesn't want to bother with pay-per-call. Flat rate. And if you tried to flat rate somebody, say $1,600, some industries will bear it, some won't. Some cities yes, some cities no. But everywhere, that $400 to $500 price point is a sweet spot.
It is.
If you remember nothing else, remember that, especially in home services and any of the typical local business.
A roofer would be happy to pay you more, but we thought about that because a roofer gets probably $5,000 off a good job. That's on the low side. But how are we going to have a roofer that's paying way more and we get them together for coffee and donuts and they're talking about what a good deal and he says, oh, what are you paying? Well, $4.95. Well, why am I paying $1,500? It just wasn't going to work. So we just said flat rate, and we don't want to fool with it. And no, I don't want to mess with pay-per-call. That's just too much work. Yeah.
All right, good. Now talk about cleaning services, Gene.
Okay. This is a fairly. Oh, I thought this was going to be the house cleaning. This is
no, this one is carpet cleaning. You gave me.
Yeah. We lost one carpet cleaner. He went out of business, and by the time it was 2 years later, and he came back and said, okay, we've revived this, and I said, I'm sorry, we already have somebody else here. So we have a fairly new vendor on here, and I can't remember which one it is, but I'm going to look and see here, and then my memory will be refreshed.
So, Gene,
Oh,
what's an
yeah,
average
yeah.
amount of calls? What's an average amount of calls the customer would receive a month? Or do any of them say, God, you're just not providing me enough value? Do you ever have that problem?
Not usually, because they're all going to get 2-3 calls a week. That's on the low end. This guy gets, I think he got 8 calls last week. You know,
So
and,
it's
and
steady,
if he
regular business.
closes half of them, he closed 4 deals, and that's in a week, and so he closed maybe 15 deals on the high side, on the low side in a month. You know, well, that's worth more than $495, especially considering the lifetime value of that new client. It isn't just, a lot of these people, it's not just a one-time thing. They're looking for recurring revenue. You know, how often do you have to get your carpets cleaned? Depends on if you have 4 kids, right, Brian?
That's right. Fortunately, I don't have any car. I have a little bit, very little, but it would be
Yeah,
ugly. It would be
yeah,
ugly.
I know
So
it.
we got carpet cleaners. We talked about roofing. Let's talk about what everybody really cares about. And Jimmy, I'll get to your question on the NAP in a minute, and Cliff, your question. So talk about money, Gene. And I'm not going to load your lips. I know what I charge per client and what I get. I think it's ingenious. Do you want to talk through the numbers for everybody?
Sure. For the purposes of this webinar, I dialed it back because I didn't want to put something out there that you felt like was unrealistic. So I said, okay, let's say that an average number of listings per directory is 12. Now on our Myrtle Beach site, we have, I think, 22. But let's just say you're shooting for 12. So if you're getting $495 times 12, that's $59.40. And I said minus expenses of $700. This is just in the beginning because you do have to buy your domains. You may have to pay somebody to write articles. You may have to, although I've got something for you on that later. But I mean, there are some expenses in startup. That's why that's a high number. It settles out, and like I said, if you're, I think I figured out it was $88 or something for my expenses one month. But here's the magic. You got $5,240 coming in on those 12 sites. If you add a second site, boom, you're over 6 figures a year just by rinsing and repeating. Now I will tell you, we are starting our 4th home services site. And there are other niches which I will show you. You don't have to do just home services. We chose it because the people needed help. I liked them. They were kind of blue collar, you know, and I live in Myrtle Beach, and we're called the Redneck Riviera. So it just kind of fit, you know, for us here. But home services, remember, the $630 billion industry that it is. And if you did it again in 2 cities, boom, you're up to almost $21,000 a month. That would be $250K annually. And I don't know, I haven't seen where the slides are here. I don't know if this is a good time to say this, but I will tell you that when Brian and I decided to put this out, I said, let me be a guinea pig. I've done this with Sue all along. We've got, you know, Myrtle Beach and Conway and Carolina Forest, and we have a marketing group that we've done this with. So I said, I'm going to go to a city 5 hours away where my family lives, and so I have a reason to be there once in a while, and I'm just going to start from scratch, and I'm going to work along with everybody. And that's what I'm doing. And Brian, you might have a picture of my site later. I don't know. Yeah, you do. You do. So slide number 42 there. You'll see that later. But I started from scratch myself, going through this training without any help from Sue. Now, that was different for me because usually Sue handled a lot of the grunt stuff that I didn't really want to do. But this time I said it's only fair that I do this myself. And so I'm about 6 weeks into it, and I'm coming along. And I'm excited because that's going to be another, another 6,000. Well, I want to do more than 12, but I'm starting with 12. I think I've got 8 of the sites built. So anyway, you're going to have somebody walking with you in this, and I'm seeing every time I see something that it's like, oh gosh, that could be a little more clear, I go back and change the modules in the course or have Sue add something because I want to really keep this real. Honestly, I want my boots on the ground just like all the rest of you. So you want to go to the next slide there?
Well, hang on. I want to really look at the money, you guys. And this is, if you're like me, and I love Jean, and I've been friends with her for a number of years, and she is super cool and very real, and she's doing it in multiple cities like she's talking about, and she's the one who said, hey, let me do another city so I can then have a newer case study. And I'm like, okay. If you look at this, I want to know by a show of hands, or you can go ahead and put something funny in the chat box. If you agree with me that an extra $6K a month, she has 5240. If you could make an extra $6,000 a month, I'm not talking about crushing it out. I'm not talking about yachts and Bugattis and sports cars. Base income, recurring, like she's done for 5+ years. Now, mind you, she's a grandmother. She rides a Harley. I love her. She and her partner are not computer superstars. They're not developers like Rich Brooks on the call. They're normal everyday people. 6,000 a month, right? Is that interesting? Does it make sense? Yeah, Bill said bring it on, and I won't read all these, but I agree, you guys. we said when we did this, too many people talk about, making a 7-figure business or a high 6-figure business, yet so many people, they just want to make a couple K, 5K, 6K, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Gene and them split over 10K, and they split it with partners, and they have another site, right? So Gene and Sue. So it's very, very lucrative. Somebody just said they could golf more. I don't see your name, but Jeff.
that wasn't me, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Guys, and you heard her. Once a month, she adds an article, and that's why it had that heavy content feel, and it all ties back to ranking. But if you start looking at it conservatively, I just put this up again. It's a slightly different slide. If you just had 8 and you picked up $495, that's not a lot of money. It's basically 4K, right? You got expenses of $475. You're netting $3,500. This is so mindless to duplicate in other cities and other niches that you can add this $3,500 a month revenue like it's going out of style. Now, look, I'm at a different place in my business. I'm trying, like Jeff, to get to 8 figures. I'm trying to make like the Fast 50. I'm trying to do all these different things. But I will tell you what, there was a time when I had a stack of bills on my desk, utility, more credit card bills than I knew what to do with. I owed $9,000 in credit cards, right? And I was freaking the hell out. And I could barely pay my bills. I was eating, I need to do this again. I literally lost 57 pounds after college. Jeff, I weighed 154 when I got out of college, like 6 months later. I went on a tomato soup, grilled cheese, and peanut butter and jelly diet every day. And I didn't like ramen noodles, so that's all I ate. And all I had was bills as I tried to build this business. And for anybody like that, anybody who's suffering and struggling, you know that $3,500 a month isn't chicken feed. It's real dough. And you do it twice, and now you're talking about, that's first year out of grad school, $7,000 a month. I made $82K my first job after my MBA. $82K, and I work like a slave, like a dog. Let me tell you what, if I could have done this, I would have been elated. Now you can do this multiple times, and there are very few people doing what we're teaching you. Very, very few. So I'm not trying to harp on it, but I want to underscore the money for a different reason. I'm not underscoring the hundreds of thousands you're going to make. I'm underscoring this base, reliable, conservative income that Jean's built her lifestyle around, that Sue is now in Alaska for God knows how long has she gone for, Jean? Like 4 weeks?
She left June the 15th, and she'll be back in September.
Jesus, June to September. Now, I went to Alaska. I flew my whole clan up there. We did a cruise, and I was gone 11 or 12 days, and it felt like forever. I can't even imagine 3 months. But when you have that reliable base income, which is what we put together, you can do this, and it's really, really important. So I want you. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, man.
You'll get a kick out of this. She called me yesterday. I said, "What's up?" And she said, "Well, it's just the first time I've had cell signal in a week. I just wanted to hear a voice."
Crazy, you guys. My phone didn't work up there at all. There are no Verizon towers in the state of Alaska.
No.
So if you had an aha moment, if you all of a sudden said, "Wow, I don't have to crush it. I don't have to make 100K, 50K a month. Any of these crazy numbers we all hear on webinars, $1 million, this and that." If 4,000 to 5,000, 6,000 a month would actually make a real difference, then go ahead and let us know in the box. And if it won't, that's okay. This becomes a secondary stream of income, or it might not make sense. But for those of you that are trying to turn the corner and have that reliable, consistent income, maybe it supplements, Rich is a programmer, maybe it supplements his programming and his wife's real estate. Or for those of you that are maybe you're doing one thing and you want another reliable source of income, let us know. It's important. Yeah, Dennis said absolutely. Doug, I agree. Exactly what I would need. It's exactly what I needed. Jimmy just said it would make a big difference. And I got to be honest, it made a big difference in my life when I made $3K. When I got to $3,000, now as a guy that was struggling, I was losing weight not because of any diet or workout plan. I was losing weight because I was bloody poor. And that's just how it worked. I didn't have money to spend, and I spent what I could.
That was a toddler diet, Brian.
I'll post a picture. If anybody knows me, I'll post it on my Facebook. I'll have to grab it out of the album at home, and you're gonna be like, "Oh my God, Jeff!" I was like Corey skinny. It was sick for me, totally sick, without the gymnastics. But anyway, you guys. So I'm really passionate about this, and we're gonna explain the marketing and how to sell it, Bill, and a few others right now, because it kind of sells itself. But I'm gonna keep passing it over to Gene now. Gene and I were real concerned about this. No, that's not fair. Gene was not concerned. I was concerned. And so I'm sitting with Gene and Sid at the beach, and we're sitting around, and we're looking at their business, and I'm picking it apart. I'm ripping it apart, and she's not happy with me. Now, mind you, she's hosting me, so she's being very gracious as I'm a jerk. But I was doing it for the right reasons, because if you rip something apart, you find the holes and you make it better. And that was the point. And Gene, now tell us about Conway and Myrtle Beach and population. Let's talk about that.
Okay. My home city, Myrtle Beach, I've been here 26 years, has less than 38,000 people on a good day. And tourists do make it swell up. You know, we might have, 200,000 in here on 4th of July, but they don't count. We're just happy when they go home. Our county seat, which is Conway, that's where Sue lives, has less than 25,000. Actually, I did a search. Have you ever heard of this site called city-data.org? It's fascinating. And it gave the stats of Myrtle Beach having 27,000 last night when I was looking at that. But anyway, so 25, and there's a city 40 miles away that has less than 15,000 people in it. Happens to be the 3rd oldest city in the nation. Wow. St. Augustine, Florida, is the oldest. There's St. Mary's, and then there's Georgetown, South Carolina, is named after George Washington. 15,000 people. Guess what? Their site's doing great. Now, the city across the state that I'm doing has 70,000, and that is Greenville, South Carolina.
So wait a minute. So we're talking about 15,000, 70,000, and whatever the other one was.
25 and 38.
25,000. Now, yeah. Dennis said, can my city be too big? Absolutely. Dennis, if you live in L.A., I was talking to Barack Grano, if you guys know him, cool dude. And if you're in L.A., the last thing you want to do is replicate our model citywide. It would be a debacle. We've tried it. It doesn't work. You got to come up with like that cluster, that community inside of it. Like, let's say you were in Scottsdale, but maybe you were working on North Scottsdale, out near Hershey lives. Or like where I live, it's a town of 35,000 outside of Atlanta, so it's pretty tough. It's a tight community. It works well. But if you're in a mega city, one of those big top 10 or 20 in the country, you got to break it apart. You could do West Atlanta. You could do Dunwoody. You could do Buckhead. You pick out the communities that exist inside of the city, and then you drill down on that. If you try to do the whole city, to Dennis's question, you'll probably lose. The competition will be so fierce, you won't generate enough results, you won't build enough traction, you'll lose the sense of community. You went too broad.
Yeah, like Chicago, LA, Atlanta, even Charlotte. I'm talking to somebody now who lives near Charlotte, and Charlotte, North Carolina. It's still too big. There's 600, 800,000 people there. So break it down.
No city's too big. You have to drill down. You have to get smart with it. So Mike said, how big is too big? There's no right answer to that, Mike, but like Gene just said, if it just doesn't make sense, like for me, you guys, I live in the same town as Matt Basic, I don't know, who else, Jeff Smith, Sid, Devon, a bunch of internet marketing guys, right? Now, I live 80 miles from Jeff Smith, 74 miles from Sid, my partner, right? That's too far. It's too far. But inside of the greater Atlanta megapolis, right, there are communities, and every city has it, and you have to drill down on it. If you need help, any of us can help.
Marion, Decatur,
That's right.
Marietta, Decatur. There's all kinds of things. Actually, if you live in a big city, you've got multiple opportunities.
That's right. It creates multiple possible communities for you. And if you're in a town of 3,000, like somebody just said they're in a small town, like in Pennsylvania, in some of the Northeast, like Hershey goes up to Massachusetts, some of those little towns are just a couple thousand people. But they start to aggregate under a county level.
Yeah.
All you're doing is creating a different community. The local residents naturally use the services of these 4 towns in this cluster known as, I don't know, Suffolk County, right? So you don't want to be one of the towns. You want to work on Suffolk County. And when we talk about this, Gene and I are really high on home services. Me, because I have family in it. I have my own clients in the space. Jean's got, her son owns a roofing company. She's got her business. But you don't have to follow our lead. This is just what we're doing. All of these work. I will tell you about one. I have a friend of mine who does wedding services. It's an amazing vertical. Think about it. Photographers. What else?
Oh, I'll tell you, because we've done it. We call it event services. There's a DJ, there's a florist, there's a rental place, there's a videographer, there's a photographer, and there's
like 10 or 12 different.
There you go. There. Yeah. So we've only got 8 on the event services, but so what? You know, that's still 8 times $4.95 we didn't have.
But it's very easy to do, and it's autopilot, you guys, and that's, I guess, the beauty. And I get excited. If your kids go back to school in September, if they go back to school next week, this slide's a little much, but for early fall, late September, you can be doing the same thing.
I'd say by the time the leaves are falling.
That's right. Well said. So if you ask somebody earlier asked, how long does it take? It's all relative to how you work it and how you build it and the niche and location. There's no one right answer. But for sure, by the time the leaves are falling, if you follow our paint-by-numbers system, you will do this. Now, you may not get the same money. You may get more. The amount of money you make strictly is based on what you charge and what you spend right on your outsourcing. The beauty is we share every single thing, everything. And let me go on because I want to show you guys this. And Gene, why don't you tell us about Module 1, about what's in the system?
Okay. Well, there was another time when you ripped me apart, by the way, and that was at our lunch over there in Atlanta, and you said, you just haven't shown them how to make the money exactly right here. And I said, okay, I'll make a module called Show Me the Money. And we added that, and then you were happy. And that's because you know more than I do about these things. So we added this module and we gave you an overview of how to build your six-figure income. We gave you 5 weeks of exact instructions to be successful on less than 20 hours a week, even if you have a full-time job. Now, to be honest with you, I've got 2 more full-time jobs, maybe 3, and I don't have 20 hours a week to spend on this, and so I haven't. I might spend 10, but I might be slower, but I'll get it done, and I'm not asking for help from Sue or anybody. I'm doing this myself, and I'm spending probably about 10 hours a week on it. And that's, well, we'll talk about that later, but downloadable worksheets to track your progress. We added everything that we thought would be helpful. We gave you income projection spreadsheets where, okay, if you want to charge $3.95 instead of $4.95, just plug that in and watch your numbers change. If you want to charge $5.95, then plug that in and watch your numbers change. We've given you a really good spreadsheet, and it will show you, if you play with those numbers. I love spreadsheets because you can play with them and see, okay, if I want to do this, what do I have to do? Decrease my expenses, add more sales, increase the expectation as far as time's concerned. There are several ways to manipulate where you want to be, and a spreadsheet will do that for you. So
Gene, the important thing about this is what you said at the bottom. I like how you basically detail exactly what to do if you need to make 50K, 100K, etc. It's critical, you guys. You got to know your numbers. So, yeah. I love it. And I am guilty of, I might have been guilty of being a little harsh, but it was only in the effort.
That's okay. You paid for lunch. That's okay.
Well, still. Well, Module 2, you guys, is all about the preparation. It's all about research, competitive analysis, choosing the right domain name. When Jean likes domain names more than shoes, I know her husband Leon is happy because domain names are cheap. You can get them for $7-8. The call tracking, the whisper call, the setup, the analysis, whether you use ACT, another product, whether you simply use Twilio, it doesn't matter. How to prep the images, basically all your preparation, right? This is critical. So we go through it in excruciating detail. If you ever said, God, that is a great course, but I want them to go down another, I want them to get closer to the ground and really teach every single step, and that's what you have here.
Yeah, don't just tell people go get a tracking number. Show them the website. Show them the button to click. Show them how to set it up. Show them. Don't make them guess or look for training on YouTube. I mean,
the key is to illustrate and teach and not just tell.
That's right.
I think that's what we really hit it out of the park. Now, Google My Business, I've been working with this for years. How to prep a listing, how to set up your personal profile, how to create the business listing, how to optimize. We think we know what to do here. We're pretty confident here. Matter of fact, we're 100% confident here that what we do works. You've seen some of the examples. Now, Module 4 is super cool. This is the directory site, how to set it up in very low-level detail, how to add businesses to the site, how to add coupons, how to add reviews, right? Everything you need at a low level. This is critical because this is what somebody's paying for. When they're paying you that $4.95 a month we chatted about, they're paying to be in the directory. They're paying to have that leased site. This is one of the 2 deliverables, so it's very important.
Yeah.
So the directory is important, right? Because you're marketing the heck out of it, but the leased site is important. Gene and Sue get into a very low level on hosting, on themes, on the content. That came up earlier. Jean is one of the few people I would trust to handle my content. She's extremely good. And she's got a lady on her team that is also very, very good, Melissa. The content right now in 2015 delivers the results. The beauty of the content is that this gets you the results. There's no hocus pocus. It's the written word that delivers the results, and yes, it does work. It goes into plugins, webmaster tools, all that kind of stuff that you need to be successful. Some of it you know, some of it you don't, but we'll dispel a lot of the things that you really just don't need.
And some of it you think you know.
That's right. Some of it you think you know, but it might not be. Talk about traffic, Gene.
Well, what gets the phone ringing is traffic. So this is an important module, how to drive traffic. We use Craigslist ads. We do give you some ready-to-use ads where you would just plug in your own information. We use some social media. We do have to do the grunt work of citations. However, I found this really cool thing. Jeff, you'll be happy to hear this. I have Reputation Loop, and inside Reputation Loop, there's an integration with Yext for way cheaper than what you can buy it normally. And so I put my folks on Reputation Loop and add it to these lease sites and turn on Yext. Makes it a lot easier. But I do know how to do it manually, and we show you how to do it manually. Press releases, we give you some really good examples of what kind of press releases. You need to be putting them out locally with your media as well as online. And we tell you how to get free local advertising, and then of course cross-selling among the businesses. So it's just, it all adds up. You can't ignore any of this. And I told some people last week, well, you and I were talking, Brian, I said this is not a linear course where you just do A, B, C, and then you arrive over there. This is a circular sort of thing. It's kind of fun, but it's like, okay, you got to do this, and then come over here and do a little networking, get some warm prospects for people that maybe want to be on the site. Okay, then let's go over here and build a site. Okay, let's go over here and do a little, Google my business, and let's do a little citation. And pretty soon you circle around enough and you've got it all done. This may drive some people crazy. I kind of thrive on it. So, but that's why we've made the spreadsheets to keep you on track, and those roadmaps. Yeah, we're going to keep you on track. But
okay, so traffic, we get into the ways that you're actually going to from the lease site, from your actual community-based site, your directory, right? And we talk about the cross-selling. Very, very important.
Very important. Actually, the driving of the traffic to the lease site is more important than somebody knowing about the directory site. I mean, they'll start to know that just by osmosis, but it's just really important to get these lease sites optimized and getting traffic. And then eventually it all leads back to your directory site anyway. But and that's what creates the community. But this is critical here, traffic to the site. Very, very important module.
Well, just as important as traffic is, of course, sales. So a lot of you have asked this. So we get into where to find businesses, of course, networking, pricing strategies, both flat fee and pay per call. And I will tell you, in case this doesn't make sense, that we do the flat fee model. We being Gene and Sue in this case. Now, how to approach the business owners, how to get in the door, sample proposals, everything you can imagine around sales. So this is kind of that circular strategy in a nutshell, and it all leads you back to filling the directory site at $500 a pop and how it works. But we put together some other things. I'm going to tell you the price right now because I hate when people make me wait and they count a bunch of shit out. I hate it. It drives me bonkers. This is the price. We've had a gazillion people tell us, wow, I can't believe, when you see it, you understand, I can't believe you priced it like that. And I said, well, it's important to us that we actually, completely over-deliver. And when you see it, you'll understand. So when you see the actual materials in the course, and I'm going to tell you I'm going to let you know that it's $297. I'm going to tell you that right now. No, there's no OTOs or any of that kind of stuff. But let me tell you, Gene, will you put that link for us in the chat box so it's easier to click? So what we're going to do right now, you guys, I split some of this stuff up that Gene gave me. Lots and lots of stuff. Bonus number 1 is called Lots of Stuff. That's because I didn't have a good name for it. And she wasn't kidding. Awesome worksheets. Lists of citations that exactly mirror what we're doing. Roadmaps, like there's at the beginning of one, I took a screenshot of one and put it right there. Exactly what to do. You literally follow the system. And I mean, when I mean that it was down at a low level, how's this? print out all forms for week 1, 3-hole punch them, you get what I'm saying? And put them in a 3-wing binder. Purchase supplies. You can buy your binder and your business card holder, right? We're very, very low level because the point of this is to take you from where you are and either get you to that base 4 to 6K a month of income or to add that additional revenue source that you didn't have. But all this is included in bonus 1. Now bonus 2, oh man, I needed some water, but bonus 2 is a really in-depth call. We've structured it out, we've scripted it out. Sid, Gene, myself, and Sue, we will actually take you on a deep dive into everything you may have around pricing strategy, sales, ranking, fulfillment. What we try to do is different than most Q&A calls. We try to connect you, right? We try to take the course material that you've been going through and connect that directly with your specific situation. So that if you're getting a little disconnected on the pricing, you know, like somebody asked about why not go higher than $4.95, we're going to take your directory, we're going to take your whole system, and we're going to tie it back and show why that pricing is right, and show you, now you can do whatever you want, it's your business. We're going to show you, though, what works and what keeps the customers long term. Very important, though, that you listen to this, right? Very important. Now, next, somebody commented on how great the content was, how strong the content was. Now, we're doing home services, and we recommend that you do it as well. Consumers love this niche. Now, what we do is Gene's put together, I can't count that many, Gene. How many is it? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think it's 13. 13 different niches worth of content. And this is good content.
3, 4, 6.
I'm guessing it's 12
10, 12. Yeah, that's 13 there.
Look at that. I was pretty good with one eye. So when you look at this, we're covering the contractor market. This content will be the basis for how you're going to drive your results, and we're going to show you more in the course. But what's so important is the content, because if you've been around the block, you'll know that PBNs and linking schemes and things that worked in yesteryear are gone. They are gone, and if you try that, you're just asking to get crushed. So follow our content-based strategy and let us help you feed Google with the exact stuff they want to see to get rankings. And that's why we're pretty successful, because we focus on this completely. Yeah, Chris, if you were a complete newbie or you knew somebody that was, this would be perfect. So.
Hey, everybody's correcting us. There's 14 there.
I was going to say there's 14. I didn't want to.
Well, you guys want to know a little secret? I'm going to share something with you.
Yeah.
Chris is beyond newbie.
I knew there was 14. I needed to see who
Gosh.
It gets interaction. It's a little.
I'm thinking I'm going to be close to a casino. Brian just used the word 13. I don't know. I might have to
we subliminally talk. Now, Craigslist is one of the strategies, and Craigslist works like gangbusters, not all the time, but in certain niches. Now, we give you a bunch of our sample ads that work, and you can duplicate them. We give you exactly what you need to use them, right? So here's a couple samples. You're going to get bonus number 4. You're going to get our plumbing ad. You're going to get our roofing ad. You're going to get our electric ads. You're going to have all these that you can put in place. You can post yourself for free. You can pay $100 a month and hire a service that posts for you. But I highly recommend that you use our ads. If your ads are pulling for you right now, go ahead and use yours. But for us, we know these work. And it's a symbiotic relationship. It's all this content, all this stuff together generates the results. So I want you to consider to use our ads. Now the last bonus, the 5th bonus is something really special. And in true Brian form, I hit Jean over the head. She didn't know what I was going to do. And I said, Jean, you know what would make this unbelievable? And she goes, what? And she's like freaking out, I think. But I'm like, this is what you need. This is what you need. How about daily email coaching to keep you on track and avoid pitfalls, shiny object syndrome, any of the other stuff, right? you need to stay on track. No matter what else you're doing, you got to stay on track with this so you can follow through and generate the revenue. So you get a 90-day email coaching system that Jean built, and it gets better. She's been building them over the last couple weeks as she's launched her new location. So it's completely fresh. It isn't 5 years ago, because we already know that her clients have been around for 5+ years.
I don't even have all of them. I don't have all of them done yet, Brian. I'm building.
Yeah, literally, I think she's given me 27 of the 90, and I'm loading them up in Infusionsoft so that when you get in the course, it's only during the week. It's not on the weekends, because you gotta have a life. You gotta do other things. You gotta go golfing if you're Jeff Stark or Jeff Herschy. But at the end of the day, 5 days a week, you're gonna get a very detailed email keeping you on course. Not a rah-rah email, but a daily email telling you what you should be doing and making sure you're on track. So every single day, you're going to be able to make sure you are on track towards your goal, you're connecting the dots, and you're having Jean help you. I would say this is critical. And the reason why is we all know I get overwhelmed on a daily basis. While I've been on this call, I've gotten 11 text messages and 2 or 3 phone calls. I don't even want to look at my email. I know that if you let yourself run astray, if you let yourself get distracted, that's why we put that slide up at the beginning asking you to try to give us an hour. If you do, you run a very real risk of failing. The system won't fail. You'll fail because you won't complete the system. We don't want to see that happen. We want you to have our $1,000 course at $297, and we want you to be a success story. And we only ask that maybe you give us a video testimonial or a written testimonial later. Very important. But these are the bonuses we put together. We love them. And somebody asked, Sid, I saw it. Let me find it. Somebody asked about a website, Fred and somebody else. I'm going to do something special today. I'm trying to get my breath. I'm going to do something kind of special. The first 25 people, now the way I work it is I usually use 25. We're actually going to give you the directory site. But we're going to give you, here's an example of Jean's that she's building out in a new market right now. We're going to give you the site. We're going to host it for you. And the reason we're going to host it for you is, 1, so we can make sure that it's set up exactly right for you. And 2, the licensing on our directory software doesn't allow us to just give away their software for free, but we're allowed to do it unlimited times as long as we own and host it. So we would have the site. It would be yours. You're welcome to take it over. You can control it. You have all the admin access. All we do is host it for you. Jean, talk about this, because I personally think this may be the difference maker for people making it or not. And that's why we wanted to make it available as a very special bonus today.
Well, we searched high and low for a theme, a WordPress theme, that would allow us the flexibility and the beauty that we wanted. And we found this theme. I don't mind telling you what it is. It's from Theme Forest, and it's called Local Business Finder. You can buy it for $63 and do this yourself. But if you want to buy a domain, point it to our name servers, we'll build it for you. And then you have cPanel access and WordPress access, and you can take it over from there. So we thought it would just help you get started, so we bought the developer's license to the theme. And now on Myrtle Beach Home Services, if any of you have logged in there, you will not see those graphics, because that site is mature enough that we've got a map on there with the map pins where everybody can see where the vendors are. But for me, just starting out in Greenville, I didn't really have any map pins to put on there yet, so I just put graphics on there. My webmaster figured out how to adjust the code to do that, and it's a slider. I had to make a still shot for you, but it's got landscaping and it's got painter graphics on there, and this is the pool builder. So there's a slider there. It's a beautiful theme, and it's simple. It's very functional. And we like it, and we're just more than willing to, make this yours if that's what would help you.
I like it.
Hey, did you see the email that I sent to you this morning? Maybe you haven't checked your email, Brian, but from one of our folks that are doing this along with me, and she said, "You're not charging enough for this."
Yep. No, I saw it.
Yeah, she's
you guys,
so happy.
it's important. We're going to make 25 of these available where we'll set up and do it all for you. So not only we get the paint by numbers course at a very low detail, very important, you'll also have, you pick the domain name, you point it over, and we'll have the whole thing set up for you.
And there is a form inside the course, I think, for you to do that, and we'll know who qualified and who didn't. So.
Yep. The beauty of membership sites tells us all.
It does.
But, you guys, this is, in my mind, it's a very, very slick way to actually build a real business, recurring, almost hands-free. The amount of work you do on a monthly basis is very little, and your clients don't go anywhere because you're charging them a reasonable amount. You're delivering them very tangible value, both in the directory site and with the lease site, and you just make money month after month with a very small recurring cost. You're talking 90-something% plus profit. So let's see, Jeff. Maybe we'll take some questions, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me just pop open the question box here. Somebody said the trick is revealed, and somebody said theme forest. So big thing for me is this was really, really cool to see what you guys are doing, and the value that you're adding to the business owner for the price. I think, Brian, you really just summed it up, which is it's reasonable. I hate when somebody tells you to go price gouge a local business, to go basically, get blood out of a rock to get as much as you can, and then keep charging them as much as you can. If you charge them something reasonable within the window where they can see the return on investment, they see the value in what you're offering them, magically they stay around forever and they never leave you. And that's what you guys have proven here. And that's what Gene's proven, and that's what you guys have done with this product, which is awesome. For the big thing is, if you guys have a specific question, I know Sid's been typing in the chat box, you guys have had some questions that have been answered, is you're getting somebody to do it alongside with you that understands it, that's in the trenches. And that's what I loved about this so much, which is it's truly just the name of it's perfect, the base income formula. This is an extra foundation for those of you guys who are getting started to be able to step up to that next level. And those of you guys that are offering it, imagine if you had just the extra 5, 6, 10K a month just coming in, where it helps you get to that next level. And you'd be surprised how much, that little bit does make a huge difference in your life. For me, right after this call, I got to go spend $1,500 on tires for my car because I shredded one of them yesterday, because I have a sports car that basically destroys tires apparently every 20,000 miles. And I luckily made it to the discount tire, and I walked in the door, and the guy's showing me, prices of tires. And I'm like, just give me the best tire, and yeah, it's going to cost me $1,500 for the tires, but I'm not stressing out about it. I'm just going to, put it on the debit card or put it on my Amex and pay it off at the end of the month. But, that's that level where you have that extra 4, 5, 6, 10K a month where you can be investing it in your long term. And, I do pretty well, and and we do pretty good in business. But I think Brian and I are in a part of our lives and our business where we're looking at the long term of, how can I sustain this for my kids, my daughter? How can Brian sustain it for his kids, or how can we help them moving forward? And it's by building that next little tier that you can add on and supplement where you're at. Fred just typed in he's in the UK, so that's really cool, Fred. So that's awesome for you. For those of you guys that are in there, let us know if you're in the product and if you guys buy into what this is, because I think I'd never even thought about this, and this is so pure genius that it really builds you in a long-term recurring customer because they don't want to go to their competitor. Why would you not pay this fee every single month? It's total genius. It makes great sense. So
thank you.
Yeah.
Can I say something here?
Yeah.
You just hit on something. I want to share this with people. I was in the grocery store the other day, and I almost started crying because I realized that I didn't have to worry about what groceries cost anymore. Because I grew up kind of poor, and the first 20 years of my adult life, we struggled financially, mainly because I wasn't really working. I was homeschooling my kids. And I mean, it was tough. I had to take a calculator to the grocery store. Oh, I had to put that back. And then I realized that I don't have to do that ever, ever again. And if I want to give money to a worthy cause, I don't have to think about it. I just do it. And to have that, I mean, it just overwhelmed me with gratitude that I was able to run into people that have helped me, you know, make it online, that have, like Brian and Sid. My gosh, it's just been, what, 3-4 years ago? I don't know. But, you know, just get started. These people are real. Brian's real. Jeff is real. Sue and I are very real, and we're here to help you. I want nothing more than to see you succeed and to bring you along. I don't want to just brag about my multiple streams of 6-figure incomes. Yes, I have them now, but it was a little late coming for me. It doesn't have to be for you. And you guys can do it.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. I mean, especially with you guys and where we've all kind of been grew up. And I've seen, and I'll get on a soapbox here for a second, I've seen so many products which promise you to make this and that and go after these guys because they're high dollar and all those kind of things. And at the end of the day, really the pennies, the quarters, the dollar bills, the $5 bills start to add up, and that's where it really makes that life-changing difference. It's not swinging for the home runs. I used to sell to the financial markets and do stuff on the side with that, and it really it's you want to hit base hits. Singles and doubles are what win baseball games, being the only sport that's on right now. You score runs by getting more people on base, not by the guy that hits a grand slam every 50th time he gets to the plate. You need to be able to get out there and get those little singles and doubles, and that's exactly what this is. This is the baseline. This is where you guys start, especially for you guys like Gary that just got it. Congratulations on that. And like I forget if it was Brian or if it was Gene that you said, you know, they're getting real people. I'm a real person. Brian's a real person. Gene's a real person. Sid's a real person. Sue's a real person. I mean, I've met all of them. Obviously, I hang out with Brian and Sid quite often. But the baseline of what you guys need is reality checks. And this is something that is a great reality check for you where you can get that confidence to be able to walk in and say, I can do this for you. Here's what it is. You're part of this. And know that you can get the results. And it's not that hard for you to do, and it's not something that's super techy and all that. So go over to baseincomeformula.com/Herschy now and go get in on this and really take this to be able to get that next step to either adding the next zero, building stability in your life, whatever it is, and just building yourself a steady recurring income. My life is better now than it was 2 years ago than 5 years ago because of recurring income. You know what's coming in every single month. And you can be able to then grow on that as you go. But start here and then work your way up from there. And for those of you guys that are looking to go, hey, from 10 grand a month to 15 to 25 to 100, whatever it is, this is a great add-on. This is a great one for you guys to use. You know, people always talk about foot in the door lead generation. This is a great lead generation to get them into the other services that you have to offer as well. So there's so many options with this, so much potential, and you're getting real people that are willing and able to help you. It's not Gene's on the call trying to sell you something and then you're never going to hear from or receive from them again. You guys can tell they're out there actually working this and doing it in their business. So get in there now and get started and really start helping yourself and your families out there.
Amen.
So, Chris wants to know, does he need a promo code, Gene?
No, I think that was just a default thing on there. There isn't a promo code. I'm not holding it out on you. It's just
your promo code's the link.
And take it off.
Yeah. So you don't even need to do everything right, and you can.
Yeah, Chris said I'd much rather need you to do it for me, Chris. We don't charge anything. If you're one of the first 25, we'll set the whole thing up for you, literally the whole thing up for you. And when you go through the system and you follow it, whether you're a complete newbie, whether you've been around the block, it just works. At the end of the day, if you ever just said, I just want something that plain works, well, this works in a big way. So Let me jump up and I'm going to hit some of these other questions, you guys. How long would you figure it will take to set up and start selling? You could be up and selling within a few days, Jeff Stark. Let's see. How do you structure your sales pitch? You know, we get into that heavily in the course, Bill, but it's an ingenious sales pitch. It's about results in advance, so we're happy to share with it in the course. But the sales strategy is all about showing value to that potential client over the price to make it a no-brainer for them to sign up. And we use scarcity in the sale. If you notice, there's only one vendor that gets a spot, and that whole scarcity thing is very, very powerful. It is in internet marketing. It is with local clients. It is in almost anything in your life. When there's one left, it's amazing how that pulls. You guys, it's crazy. So yes, we will have a replay sharing, and we will send it out. Let's see. We talked about the city sizes. So it doesn't matter. Yeah, it does work. We have people in Canada, a few people asking about that. It works in any size, but you just have to be smart about it. There's never one answer fits all. So truth be told, if you're in Atlanta with 6 million people, you're not going to do it cross Atlanta. You're going to pick a community, and you're going to become part of that community. And you may already live in it, or maybe you don't. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be local. You could be. And this pairs up very well with networking groups, with chambers and stuff like that. Even if you have a full-time job, you can spend an hour a week at one of those. You can land all the clients you ever want because you're not looking for big money. You're looking for $500 a month, which is about what those guys typically spend. So important to keep in mind. Chris?
Can I say here too that if you're out of the U.S., I have done some research, and there are comparable sites to Craigslist. I found one in Australia, and I found one for the UK.
I think Canada uses Kijiji. Is that right?
They do.
Yeah. Kijiji, and you got, was it
Gumtree.
Australia? Yep.
Yep,
and
Gumtree.
UK has 2 or 3 different ones. You guys, this will be paint by numbers. If you are, for instance, using Gumtree and you live in Sydney, Australia, then where you see the word Craigslist, you're going to have to use our ads on Gumtree, and you may have to tweak them. You know, just being very open about it. So, yeah, if the vendor can't keep up, that's a good question, Gene. What happens if you're generating so many vendors that you feel like, I don't think that's going to happen. Somebody was asking if your vendor says, oh my God, that's too many.
Yeah, we had the flooring guy. The flooring guy said that. He said, can you turn it off for a while? Well, no. Maybe if you've got so much business, I told him I could just release him from any commitment and I'd replace him. He didn't want to do that. So I said, maybe you need to hire more staff.
Yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, if it happens, you can obviously punt them. I don't see that as something you're going to face. I could be wrong, but we will see. You could sell the referrals, but as soon as they start thinking they're going to give them to somebody else, a competitor, it's amazing how that works.
So true. I've only had it happen once.
All right, I'm going through this. Now, in terms of hosting, you guys, we share with you in detail some strategies around hosting. You can use any hosting you want. We show you a smarter way to do it that maximizes your ranking potential, and it's just smart business, and we get into that in the course. So important.
Also, there's a smart way that we reveal of buying domains that probably none of you have heard about.
Same idea for the same goal, which is to maximize your results.
And
now, Gene, Jeff Stark asked a question about when you're spending money on a particular client per month, and I think you said you spend $475 on the sample on the one in Myrtle Beach. What are you primarily spending that money on? Is it primarily content creation and you're putting up new content?
Well, that was, is my mic on?
Yeah.
Okay, because I try to mute it when you're talking. That is a price for the beginning of this. It goes way down once you get it rolling. And what I'm spending my money on is, number one, I bought a track phone, because I want to take these calls and give the leads to the people. I bought domains. I spent money having citations built because I didn't want to do it myself.
So you just outsourced the drive other people were asking about.
Yeah, all that money is outsourcing. You know, buying little packs of this and paying somebody to do the Craigslist. You know, it isn't that I'm lazy, I just have a lot on my plate. So if you want to be slower about it, do it all yourself, you won't have that income outlay.
Okay. Let's see. All right. There are no OTOs. I think we got one or two more questions, you guys. Jimmy earlier asked, does the NAP affect your ranking? So yes, Jimmy, the NAP always affects your local rankings, and that's your name, address, and phone number. It ties into your Google My Business listing. It ties into your local search results popping up with citation sites, with directories. Very, very important. And we get into in the course exactly how that works with the tracking number and how it works with the lead sites. We get into it, I think, pretty well. Let's see.
Chris is asking a question that maybe, I don't know if he's directing that toward you or Jeff.
Probably Jeff. Jeff, you see this one? Chris said, will this complicate other products that I bought from you? And for instance, if you're doing RepLoop, which is probably what he's speaking of, would that complicate?
No, because this actually adds good value on the back end for the ones that you're using, if it's in your local area, or you're using some sort of lead generation tool, that I've talked about recently, or ones that I own. Those could potentially help you find the customers that you're looking for. So it depends on what you got, Chris, but realistically, the only stuff I bring to you guys is stuff that's either complementary to Reputation Loop or is a lead generation type product, or something that's so new or in rare air that you have to see it because it's something that you need to be paying attention to because it's what's going to help you get to that next level. Those are the things that I'll bring you, and usually it's one of those things like Reputation Loop when you're asking, will this complement it? Absolutely. And like Jean said earlier, she's doing all the listings management from the account. You could even do a $500 a month package for these guys where they get this, plus you're allowing them to use the Reputation Loop software, and you're doing their listings management in there, and you're really adding true value to them, and you're getting an additional benefit at like $697 or something like that.
Yeah, I'm using RepLoop on my sites now. So
yeah, so there you go. I mean, you just use it on each one of your clients, and it's a great little add-on feature for them. Hey, not only this, but when they call, and let's say maybe they're in front of a computer, and then they want to find out about what your reputation looks like because you're on the list, but they want to know more about you. I can make sure that you show up on the front page of Google when somebody Googles your name with 5-star reviews coming from your recent customers. I can talk about Reputation Loop all day long on how you can use this, but really the best part about it is that you can do this and complement the service.
I might want to talk to you later, Jeff. Maybe you can show me how to use it better.
Yeah, well, let's say I'm on vacation next week from the 3rd through the 10th. I can do it right after that. And why don't we just do a call to anybody that buys in this group in mid-August? I'll show you guys some ways that you can complement this with Reputation Loop. We'll just do a bonus call at it for all the guys that join.
Nice. Yeah, good stuff, you guys. It's very important. Like Rich Brooks talked about doing this in a different industry than home services. It's totally cool. We'll give you access to our step-by-step guide, all the cheat sheets, all the bonuses. We'll give you the directory setup. You can use that directory for anything. Weddings, you can go into a vertical, you can go horizontally. It doesn't really matter. I think the takeaway is you have to complete the process, right? Whether you decide to join us or not, the critical thing, and where a lot of people break down, I want to give you guys this as a takeaway, is you have to go through, and you got to do all the steps. You can't just simply buy the training, kind of skim it, and never put it into place. What you'll see with what we put together is it's very low level. It's very step by step. It's very, what do I do next? This is where I'm at. We intentionally made it low level because we know that is a disconnect for many people. if we just simply said set up call tracking,
Brian,
we'd be in trouble, you know? I mean, it would be a problem.
Brian, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
I know, and what I've seen with a lot of people, you know, that came from our camp that have moved forward with the base income formula, it was simple. I mean, if you're still living, you know, if you're still working full time and trying to do this part time, or if you're still trying to, you know, get started, if you don't have 3 to 6 clients already paying you north of $1,000 each, you need to get a base income. You got to get a backbone. That's why we had to slash through the income. You got to get a backbone to be able to make some moves, be able to breathe. Go simple, stupid until you have something that'll be able to give you some freedom. You can't live under straps and be nailed to the floor and have income barriers and time barriers and you know, you can't go and see a client because you're not making enough money and you're over there spending half your day for the person that referred you, that you went to church with, and you felt sorry for them, so you gave them a great deal and you're working for nothing, and now they're like a Hitler boss telling you what you did wrong on something you were just trying to do as a favor. You can't live that. That's a failure. How many people have been stuck in that? Give me some responses real quick. How many people have been stuck, you know, helping out a friend and you think, man, I wish I'd have never done this, right? Or how many people have misquoted and quoted too low before and thought, man, I should have charged these people 3 times as much, and I regret it. I'd rather not have had it at all, right? It's a bummer deal. This happens to all of us. I see a lot of you saying yes, okay? Now, here's the truth. You got to have freedom to breathe. If you don't have a base income that's coming in for you to start this business, you're going to fail. Revenue is key. You got to have that breathing room, okay? And once you do, what's going to happen? You're going to have more confidence. Your pitch is going to be better. You're going to have some swag. Maybe not Hershey swag, but some swag, right? And what happens is you're more convincing. People don't start objecting you. They start having certainty with you. They don't start asking you for references. When somebody sits there and says, yeah, give me some emails and some references, that means something you said or some way you came across triggered a red flag and makes them nervous. They don't know why, but something's not right. I'm instinctive. I'm an animal. I'm going to, you know, not do business with you. Anybody want to know what you're supposed to say when somebody asks for a reference or asks for you to send them an email? Just a little tidbit for staying on with us.
Yep, Vicky says yes.
Do you want to know? Okay. When somebody asks you for a reference, this is exactly what you should say. Dude, anybody could call a bunch of their friends to call you back. There's something I said that I must not have built enough value in this product, because normally by now, most of my clients would have already bought. However, I said something that made you for some reason not trust me. So tell me I'm fat, ugly, bald, or smelly, but don't tell me, give me references to get me out of here. I want to show you a way that this won't cost you any money. It's actually going to make you money. So I'm not asking you to spend any investment today. You challenge them. Don't give me a reference sheet and walk out with your little tail between your legs. Okay? But bottom line, if you have a little bit of breathing room, if you have a backbone of base income, you'll be able to absolutely 100%. You'll have a different swag about you. Rich, jokes will be funnier. You ever walk to a casino when people are hitting the jackpots, man? You hear them laughing and cutting up, and they kind of heckle. That's because they got money coming in. They ain't got to worry about it. You don't want that worry. You got to have a $5 to $6 grand monthly income base. You got to have a backbone. Simple, stupid. Just get that base and then move on to more technical products. Okay. I'm with you, Gary. We see a ton of people needing it, and that's why it's been a huge success. And I've known Gene and Sue both. They're great trainers. It's very easily digested. You're going to get it. It's going to be easy. You're going to start making some money. Now you'll do like we all do. You'll start making things a little bit more complicated and want to get more detailed, and you'll venture out into some high-tech stuff, or maybe you'll find some outsources for some serious stuff. But right now, if you're tired of working for the man, making somebody else's dream come true, you need to do the right thing, set yourself free, get yourself some income, and break away. All right. Please say that one more time. Okay. So if somebody says, give me your references, I'll take your references. Well, Gary, you don't have another question, man. I mean, and you have no other option. You need to jump in and get involved. I expect to see big things out of you. I'm going to write your name down. If somebody asks you for a reference, or somebody tells you, yeah, you know, just send me an email and I'll get you with all your information, and you know, so I can pitch it to my boss or something like that. First off, you shouldn't have pitched the guy that could have made a decision in the first place. But secondly, this is what you would say. listen, tell me you don't like me, tell me I'm ugly, whatever you want to say, right? But normally at this point, my customer sees enough value, they've already signed up. Now, I must have disconnected somehow, and I want to say that's my fault. For some reason, I didn't show you the same value that I've showed everybody else, because it's been a huge success with everybody. Let me re-explain so I can show you the success instead of making you nervous and wanting references. We both know I can go get 100 friends to sit there and talk good about me, and what good is that going to do you? That's not a true reference. References are bogus. What you need to do is have certainty that you see value today. So tell me where I messed up, and let me go over it, because I must have skipped over something. You know, make it your fault. Never make it somebody else's fault, right? So there you go.
I like it. Thank you, Sid.
Can you use this in the health field? Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So John says thank you. So
yep.
yeah,
you've got complete creative freedom, guys.
Cool.
Gary said he lost his job. He needs this bad. Gary, we've all been there. Sid lost a ridiculous business in, what was it, 07 or 08, Sid, when it went down?
08, yep.
08, multiple million a year. And it just, the economy, it was just the whole financial market meltdown just crushed him out. And I've been through a couple things like that myself. I can relate. This is, if you need something step by step that has that level of hand holding that actually works, like this really works. I know some of the times I'm on these calls and I'm like, some guy talking about, you know, some Pure IM thing with shiny buttons. This is work, but it's very simple, very easy to do, very easy to follow. I gotta give major kudos to Jean and her partner Sue. They've taken the typical product and they've made it so easy to follow. And I think that is the strength, is we have such you know, simplicity, Gene, what's the right word? What am I looking for? It makes it easy for you to connect the dots so you can go from webinar to money instead of webinar to kind of confusion, which happens.
Hey,
well,
Brian.
I can step in here and say this that we didn't mention. Sue is a certified Microsoft trainer. She made her living doing corporate training for years, sold that business for a whole lot of money, and moved to Myrtle Beach thinking she might retire. And then she went to work as a program analyst for a local electric company, hated corporate, and so got out of that, and we started our business here together. So Sue's passion and her expertise is in training. And if I ever need anything like, oh, how do I make Excel do this? Well, duh, she's a Microsoft certified trainer. She tells me. And if you need that same information, you know, she's always good to answer questions. So it is her background, and that's why she's so good at it.
So what we did, you guys, is you heard Sid just talk about the whole reference question. We've got tremendous depth in sales, in the technical, in the training, in the business standpoint, and we've got a model that works. We've got a model that'll take you from where you are now to an additional 4 to 6K. It's not going to make you 100K on one directory site. It will not happen. I will never tell you that. But you can replicate the sites, and you can do multiple. And then let me tell you a secret. Once you've got 22 like Gene does in Myrtle Beach, guess what you have? You have these customers that love and respect and trust you. And when you come and you share something new, like let's say there's an enhancement to RepLoop and you want to sell that to them, right? It's very easy to go to people that already you're giving them value, they're paying you, and you have a strong rapport. It's very easy to sell them something new. So this will create an on-ramp for you like no other, that you'll be able to sell future products and services, things we haven't thought about yet. You haven't thought about yet, none of us. But when you have that relationship with the client, you're able to do this kind of stuff, and the sales cycle is shortened to minutes instead of weeks or days, right? It's a very easy discussion. It's painless. So,
hey, Brian, I see. You know, I saw a lot of people that, you know, were interested kind of in the rebuttals and stuff like that. If somebody will keep up with it, because I don't want somebody to miss it, but right now, for being on the webinar for an hour and 51 minutes, for being a late stayer, long time player here, throw in my 5 module how to be a closer or die trying course.
Yeah,
Bonus.
we'll put it
Right
in. Gene, if you remind us, let's get it in tonight. We'll do that for you for sure.
Yep.
Okay, I'm writing it down. So SIDS.
Straight up, it was supposed to be 6 modules. I put it into 5. It's probably the best stuff I've ever written, and I should have charged, way more than I did. But it's easily got $1,000 value. Rich has seen it. He says it's sick, and it is. It tells you exactly what to say in the process and when to say it. It gives you the roadmap to take anybody you talk to. Before you know it, your kids are going to start listening to you. Listen to me when I tell you that. It gives you exact roadmap on how to talk your wife into watching the movie you want to watch. No, I'm kidding. No, it'll teach you how to make the path clear and the decision easy. Blows them right down.
All right, Jeff. Man, I think we answered them all, and I appreciate you taking the time with us today and having everybody on the call. And for everybody that stayed, thank you. We really enjoyed it.
Yeah, awesome. And thank you, Gene. Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Sid. Thank you, Brian, for everybody coming on here. And, you guys are the real deal. I love bringing you guys in front of the group because I know at the end of the day, anybody that's in on this is going to be taken care of. And we're all here to make sure that you guys are successful because we want to be able to meet with you or see you somewhere and, not duck our heads and run. Like there are people at events that magically they don't talk to their customers or not, integrating with them, and they're not doing anything because they aren't really getting them the results that they need. When I go to an event, I want to talk to the reputation loop customers. I want to talk to people that are users of my sales tools and things like that. And you guys are the same way because we want to see you guys be successful. And the way to do that is to get yourself up to that next level and build that base income. So thanks so much, guys. This was awesome. It's great. And the bonuses that we've got are really going to help out. And we'll see you on the other side of this.
See you guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Clay, where you been, buddy?
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.